for it to register as me hitting the start broadcasting button.
Do you want to just? I don't know if broadcasting takes more bandwidth than just doing mano a mano, or.
That's a good point, actually. Do we sound any more fucked up than we just did a minute ago?
It sounds a little better now.
Okay. Well, I say we just truck forward to figure out what happened.
Yeah. So. Here, let me give this a shot. Hey, Bill, knock knock.
Who's there?
Okay, that's manageable.
Manageable, yeah. Well, that's always good. That's always a good word to hear. Not lethally terrible, but
Okay, all right. Let me get this started.
Okay.
Hey pals, we're back and it's time for the Geek Week in Review. For those of y'all who've listened to this podcast before, and if this is your first time, God help you, this is the part of our podcast where Bill has made notes from the news of the week that was, and I am reading them oftentimes for the first time. So let's go on this journey together. Bill starts... Fuck you, Bill. Bill is goofing on me.
We're having some slight, connection issues over Google Hangouts. So yeah, the finished audio for this podcast sounds a little. That's why. But yeah.
Yeah, it will be so uncommon for us to have weird audio with the Blake County podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last.
Friends, rumored Mass Effect details came to light this week. There was a post on NeoGAF that Bill shared with me just before he started recording, and basically purporting that a lot of the gameplay is not dissimilar from what we are familiar to in the Mass Effect formula.
Yeah, just that, again, you're still running around, the Andromeda Galaxy. You're running around with a 3-party setup of your main character and 2 squad mates. You play as the Pathfinder instead of... what was your title in the first Mass Effect game?
You were a Spectre.
You're Spectre, that's what it is. So I guess now you're a Pathfinder instead of a Spectre. It's still interesting that they had what's-her-face, Femshep, voice that first trailer that they came out with just like 2 weeks ago. But
well, I don't know if I'd call that a trailer. They just did that for N7 Day, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah, that's true too. It's interesting that they chose her for N7 Day then.
Yeah!
You're finding a new home for the human race. Which makes sense considering how fucked up Earth got in that last game. I don't know if you're finding a home for all the races from our solar system, because not our solar system, from our galaxy, because like the whole galaxy got fucked up in that last game.
At last, all of my Mass Effect Titan AE crossover fan fiction will come true.
Exactly, yeah. You have jetpacks. Omni tools can be used for you can deploy a shield in combat, pretty much the same weapons. Facial features are supposed to be one of the big things that's getting improvements. Your new ship is an entirely different layout from the Normandy. You have balconies so you can observe like the Mako Bay and the Pathfinder's quarters. I'm trying to think of anything. Strike missions from the ship. I wonder. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm fine with the new Mass Effect game just being an evolution of a Mass Effect game. I have no problems with that at all. Just like a refining.
That's the one thing that. Yeah, I kind of think that this is probably more likely to be true than not, just because it sounds so much like the old Mass Effect games. This sounds kind of like, rather than like it wouldn't be an entire reinvention of Mass Effect. It would just be like, oh, it's Mass Effect now with like 3 new major features. Like, I guess you can conduct missions from the ship, kind of like maybe in Assassin's Creed, where you can send out like your dudes to do stuff while you're like actually doing missions yourself. And like, jump packs and slightly better faces and stuff like that. So
I wonder if BioWare was burned enough by reinventing the wheel between the various Dragon Age games that they're very consciously trying to stay the course a little more.
Yeah. The weird thing is that supposedly you're still working with Cerberus somehow. Which that sounds kind of like...
You mentioned that before, but I don't see that mentioned anywhere in any of the things that the link that you just sent me.
On the NeoGAF thread, the next to last thing is during early build combat, enemies dropped in via Cerberus ships.
Well, it's like, but
it's the placeholder legit now.
That's saying enemies are dropped in via Cerberus. So that's not you working for
Cerberus. But still, Cerberus. How did Cerberus get to the other side of... How did they get to a new fucking galaxy? Fuck those guys.
Bill, when shit went bad, everybody was stranded.
Die in that last game?
That doesn't mean that there aren't Cerberus members in the world. Just because Hitler died, it didn't mean all the Nazis disappeared.
I'm just saying, you killed Martin Sheen of the West Wing. Shit
my
gets fucked up.
God,
You kill Martin
Bill.
Sheen.
I did it. I was the person. I alluded to Hitler in this conversation.
Christ.
I removed myself from the
so-
conversation. I'm not worthy of it anymore.
Do you think we're getting Mass Effect next fall? Do you think it's going to be that soon?
That's the date, isn't it? Did they say next December?
Did they announce that?
I think that is what they talked about. Your Mass Effect.
It seems like they're on schedule. Like they like it's been a couple years since when did Mass Effect 3 come out? Let's see. Mass
December
Effect
2016 is the plotted release date for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh yeah, and that'll have been it's been almost 4 years since. Holy shit.
Yeah, Mass Effect 3 came out in 2012.
Man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm excited. It's going to be in the what the fuck is it called? The Snowlight or whatever the hell it is engine that Dragon Age Inquisition was in. So it'll be all, but they'll know it a little better now.
Should be delicious. Yeah, I even forgot what studio, because I know it's a new studio working on this too, so it's not necessarily the same team that did. I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna be hearing nothing about. It's gonna be next year's gonna be Mass Effect 4 talk all fucking year long. It's gonna be essentially what Fallout 4 was this year, where we're gonna be waiting for like news at E3, and then E3 is gonna have the big like this is the day it's coming out. I wonder, we still do have. Is it next week? Or within the next 2 weeks, where they got the Video Game Awards, which is like essentially Christmas E3, where that's like you get big games. Like who knows? They could actually have like some kind of a release date announced there or something like that. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious to. I feel like there hasn't been as much ramp up for like reveals at the Game Awards this year like there were last year.
Yeah, it seemed like last year, like, yeah, I think they're being a little bit more guarded. I don't know if that was partially too because, like, with a new console generation, everyone was being a little more, like, kind of playing things close to the vest because everyone's like, with like new tech and new games and some new franchises and stuff, everyone's kind of, I don't know, not being so much like, oh yeah, we got this new thing coming. I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just curious because
we'll find out.
That's we all of us don't care so much about the awards. It's mostly just about them. What news we gotta hear about? What we gotta learn about?
Yeah, and the Video Game Awards have been pretty kind of transparently, despite like pretending to be the Oscars of gaming. It really has been like, hey, here's new trailer for like, yeah, maybe Dark Souls 4 will be announced or some kind of shit like that.
Yeah, nothing was more telling than how there were some awards that were just kind of casually handed on the side of the show
like
as opposed to the show proper.
Yeah, you got people like stepping out of their like gremlin cars, and like they're like, oh, I there's no ceremony for like the best voice actor this year. You just give it to me as soon as I step out of my I just parked my car, and they rush me right back out the door just so you have extra time to show off like the fucking Mass Effect 4 trailer. Yeah,
Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Geek Week interview, Bill very complexly and in great detail notes Fat Rock.
Did you not see this?
No.
It's what's the Rock's new movie? I'm gonna type in Fat Rock and see what comes up on Google
or whatever it is.
Yeah, Central Intelligence. Have you not seen the trailer for this?
No.
Annie, Google Central Intelligence Rock and then pull up the trailer on YouTube and just skip the last like 30 seconds.
Oh boy.
I know this
is this gonna be
this is terrible radio. It's amusing. This has already been turned into an animated GIF all over the place.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
it's on YouTube.
I do love The Rock. Okay, I'm watching. Okay, it opens a shoop. This is promising. Or no, what a man, excuse me.
Just skip to the end. You don't have to watch the whole thing.
Oh, not watching. Nope.
You're watching the whole
Dwayne
thing?
Johnson's really pretty. I can't. How can I skip Dwayne Johnson? It's Dwayne Johnson.
I have no idea who Kevin Hart is. I'm glad he's got a new movie, despite me not knowing who he is. I'm glad The Rock's in a new movie. The Rock is funny. Everything he's done since The Scorpion King seems to be him trying to make up for The Scorpion King. Man, The Scorpion King had a hot lady in that. That was the
goofy. I like goofy character movie, like dumb. I can't tell you lies.
Yeah, The Rock does, man. I like how Rock is like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but like funnier, like more like knowingly funny.
The Rock is a beautiful princess of man.
Did you ever finish watching that last or any of the last Fast and the Furious movies with The Rock?
Nope. Nope. I got like 30
'cause-
minutes into it, and I
The
I
Rock is
noped out of it.
Fast and the Furious shit. Yeah.
I love that he
I
named
might
his
watch
dog after his character in Fast and Furious.
Are you serious? I didn't hear about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, his dog's name's
Oh.
Hobbs or whatever it is. Yeah.
No, okay.
Okay, hold on. Almost time
Sorry,
for
yeah.
Fat Suit O'Clock. I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Sorry for this terrible podcast experience.
Well, this gives people at home time to Google Central Intelligence and live watch with us.
Wow. How does it feel
How
to
to
be
get-
the Rock, like the chubby Rock body double? That's got to be weird.
Yeah. Well,
That's gotta be a- that's
that kinda looks
digital
like it's
face
mostly
replacement.
CG. Yeah, I don't think it's a body double. There might be some body double stuff in there, but at least the face and everything, they obviously just took The Rock. It's not even makeup. They obviously just took The Rock and just like CGI out a bunch of like wibbly fat onto him. But I thought that was kind of hilarious because he
No,
looks
see,
like. I mean, he
that's
looks
a
like a
body double.
I mean,
I think.
it's funny to see what The Rock would look like as a fat Samoan guy, and that's fucking awesome. Anyway,
I'm googling
this
the
is
Rock
the Geek Week News
body
review.
double Central Intelligence. Oh boy.
God.
Anyway,
Let's put it this way: if the Rock actually had a body double for that scene, I'm sure like the selfie that fat guy would have taken with The Rock would have already been out there. Like, yeah.
well, it's not
Which
like
that
The
would have
Rock
been
and this
super cute, too.
person would have been on even necessarily on the set on the same day if they're just doing face
You never
replacement.
know. The Rock could have been there to give the fat guy pointers about how if I were gonna dance to Shoop, this is how I would dance to Shoop. Now, you
I
gotta
feel.
dance
I
like
feel. I have
me.
to take a second. I feel ashamed that I confused a Salt and Pepper song for another Salt and Pepper song. I know better than that. This is a
Wait,
a
it's
low
not Shoop.
moment.
What's the other song then?
It was What
Yeah.
a Man. It was What a
What a
Man.
man, what a
You so
man.
crazy.
See, that was
I
like
think I want to have his baby. Good shit. I fucking love Salt and Pepper.
do you have their albums? Like, do you have their music?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. They
yeah.
come up on shuffle constantly.
Anyway, that's why you and I are friends. Fucking yeah, fucking Salt and Pepper, fucking awesome. Anyway, so
Elsewhere
what
in the
else?
Geek Week review, Captain EO is finally being put out to pasture at Disney World at least next month, says Bill.
Yeah, they finally announced that. Well, you know what? I didn't realize they only brought back Captain EO after Michael Jackson died because they had originally shut down Captain EO years ago because Captain EO is some old ass shit.
I was
And
gonna
they brought
say,
him back. Yes, they brought him back. I think at all the parks, and they did announce at least at Disney World. Yeah, first, like I think it's December 6th will be the last day they show Captain EO, and they did come out and say this is not just kind of a temporary thing. Like they're Captain EO's like this is going into the Disney vault for the foreseeable future, unless Michael Jackson dies again or comes back from the dead. Yeah, Captain EO is done. I would imagine that's probably going to start happening at the other theaters too. But again, it's only notable just because Captain EO is such a weird bit of Disney, like fucking, what do you call it? Like ephemera, like fucking, just weirdness. The fact that Disney made a 3D Michael Jackson video directed by Francis Ford Coppola that's like 30 years old, almost like 40 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Still being shown at those fucking parks and stuff. Well, I guess it is more 30 than 40 years old, but man, Captain EO is terrible.
I never partook, so I'm
dances-
gonna take your word for it, my friend.
He dances at the enemies and they explode and stuff. It's like right up there with Moonwalker. Ugh, Michael Jackson stuff was terrible. Michael Jackson had the worst taste. Granted, he grew up, he never had a chance to become a proper adult, but man, he had like the worst taste in everything. Like seeing like what is it, how his house looks like and stuff. He just ugh. Anyway, how you doing?
Bill, how many display cases do you have for Lego?
It was good stuff. I got good taste. I went through the crucible of fire to get the taste I got. Michael Jackson just like, he had like,
We
Yeah,
are
just
all
had,
of
like-
us someone else's nightmare. I'm just saying.
this is true. Yeah, there's no such thing as objectively good taste or bad taste. I mean, it is true. Like, I'm sitting in a room filled with Nintendo and Star Wars garbage. This is not an adult's room. This is Michael Jackson, but poorer. I can't be throwing rocks at rich Michael Jackson.
I was gonna say, Bill. Imagine if we had Michael Jackson's income. Imagine the nightmare home that we would live in.
Who? So like instead of like having like the kid from Home Alone for sleepovers, you have like The Rock. You have the guy playing Luke Cage. You have like, oh man, that'd be fun. I like have Emily Blunt over.
You
Emily
would just
Blunt,
have Daniel
this
Craig's
is
butt.
ice cream.
Only Daniel Craig's butt.
No, that would be like the door knocker. Would you have to like not even a knocker? It should be a big life-size like bronze cast of Daniel Craig's butt. They have to like kind of have to fondle and like
you have to give it a good goose
between the crack, and that's where the doorbell is. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh boy.
That new James Bond movie is getting such bad reviews. Oh.
Hey, here's a sentence that I'm deeply invested in. Matthew McConaughey is rumored to be playing Randall Flagg in a 4-film adaptation of Stephen King's The Stand and/or Roland the Gunslinger in Ron Howard's 7-film Dark Tower series. Are we back to 7 movies?
Again, that's what they're talking about again.
Oh, I thought it was like I thought it got like stepped down from a movie to a TV series, and then no one would pay for a TV series, and now they're saying 7 movies?
There are conflicting reports because this Ron Howard Dark Tower thing has gone backwards and forwards so much that even the media reports are conflicted as to whether or not it's supposed to be 7 films or like 4 films and a TV series. It sounds like the people making these movies still don't know themselves. It almost seems like they're waiting to see who they can cast as the characters in these movies and see how much money they have left over to decide what format this shit's going to be in. None of this shit's going to get made. Even if it does get made, it's all going to be terrible. It's funny. So Matthew McConaughey, Randall Flagg is the bad guy from The Stand, which is also connected to the Dark Tower. Okay. Essentially, Randall Flagg is the ultimate bad guy in Stephen King's kind of cross-book media universe, and Roland the Gunslinger is the ultimate good guy. Essentially, it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader, and now competing film companies want to cast Matthew McConaughey as both. So even if one of these gets made with Matthew McConaughey, can't get made with the other one unless they really want to do Matthew McConaughey finally fights himself or something like that. So I don't know. It's all just dumb. I don't know stuff. That's neither here or there. I know you don't care about that, but that's my one indulgence in the news review this week.
Fuck this. The Boy Howdy podcast has nothing if not self-indulgent. That's just so like the arc of this thing, whatever it gets made into, has been just bizarre.
Yeah. Randall Flagg is not the devil. He's the helper of the devil who can shapeshift and fly, and he wants to get a lady pregnant so he can have a devil baby. That's his bad guy, and he can invade people's dreams. Roland the Gunslinger, he's a cowboy from King Arthur times. Instead of King Arthur times, everyone had guns instead of swords, but they still lived in castles and had fire instead of electricity. Makes no sense. But Randall Flagg showed up in Roland's kingdom and like killed his father, and then Randall Flagg went into our world and he caused the apocalypse by causing a plague, and it's all just kind of like going between different worlds, kind of his Dark Materials kind of style, stupid shit, and it's all blah, blah, blah. Anyway, how you doing, Annie?
It's so interesting. Stephen King is something that is a writer that means so much to so many people that I respect, and I feel like including like my mom and you love his stuff, and it's so funny because I feel like whatever window I had to read them, I feel like I missed that window, and I don't think I can go there.
You kind of have to like Stephen King for a lot of people is like their first like not grown-up book, but it's like YA if you're like mentally defective. It's I don't know, it's hard to explain. Granted, adults can all of course, well, they're supposed to be adult horror novels,
sure,
but
it's just interesting. There are some. It's like there. I was talking about this with a friend about comics. Actually, this one comic that I loaned them, and they got back to me. And they're like, "Am I supposed to like this?" And we were talking about it, and the comic was something that is one of those things that would mean a lot to you if it was one of your very first comics, like when you're learning to appreciate this new genre. And then
I think that's what Stephen King is for a lot of people. Yeah,
it's like that entry. He's that gateway drug, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I missed my chance at entering with Stephen King. I feel like Stephen King is one of those things. It's best experience if you live in a boring small town and you happen across one of his books at the bookstore, and it's just like this
Well,
accidental
also the Stephen King
discovery.
stuff is so ubiquitous. It's easy to find. You can find it anywhere, like any airport newsstand or anything like that.
Yeah.
And well, his stuff is like super visceral. He has very vivid, well-drawn characters and lots of crazy shit happening in his books. And it's
Mhm.
only when you get older that you realize like the actual like the story isn't necessarily put that together. Like when you start like getting older and develop a critical eye, that's when you kind of go back and go, like technically the Stephen King books can be well written, but in terms of like the story construction, you're like, like the guts of the thing are more interesting than the whole shape of the container that they're in.
Sure.
It's like a turkey at the stuffing. The stuffing is so great, but when you look back at the whole meal of like the stuffing comes in the turkey itself is like kind of like kind of childishly cooked. But for
Yeah.
some reason, the stuffing was just like filled with jelly beans. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like,
But no, I mean that's how I feel
not to
to
say you can't
some.
read.
That's how I feel to some degree about like the Hunger Games. Where it's like
Yeah.
there's value
Well, yeah,
to
it's kind
this.
of like, yeah.
That
Yeah.
even as it's not necessarily the most well constructed thing, but yeah, I don't know. I think the other side of that is that it's hard to then go into things like that are so praised and then view
Mhm.
them objectively.
Because you're looking at it from the top down, whereas other people were kind of like reading it with their kids and kind of like looking upwards and like, yeah, this is the first thing. But when you've actually read stuff that is actually more advanced and more interesting and more sophisticated than Stephen King, going back and like reading that stuff, like, what the fuck was the point of this? Yeah, like really, like this is,
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel it's also one of those things that I feel like can't help but suffer from having exactly from other authors and other creators having used that as a stepping point. It's like when you go back and
yeah,
watch, if you were to watch the fucking oh god, I can't remember the name, the Buck Rogers. Like if you were to go back and watch the Buck Rogers serials or like old adventure serials hoping to find like more Star Wars or more Indiana Jones in them. But it's like, no, this was this
yeah.
moment in time that led to other moments in time, and it's kind of hard to judge it on its own merits if you look at it, from that perspective.
I am pretty
So
impressed with the number of people who read Stephen King when they were kids. Because, like,
yeah.
again, Stephen King marketed towards adults and stuff like that, but like most people I know read Stephen King as a kid, and that's how they got into Stephen King. And Stephen King was what quote unquote one of the first quote unquote real books that they ever read. And yeah, and it's interesting because like his world he does have really great characters and like really crazy events, and it like, really is kind of the shared universe between people growing up reading his stuff.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of the stuff he's written like really do make an impact because like I said, his shit is so visceral and has some great characters. What he does with those characters, not necessarily all that great, but like it's especially if you're a kid, and there's enough kid characters in his books and stuff like that. Not to make it sound like he writes kids books, but there's something so simple because he's kind of a horror writer that he's writing such morally simple stories that it's really easy for like maybe not like little kids, but like teenagers and young teenagers to kind of like latch onto, and like everything's kind of just done in such big broad strokes
Mhm.
but it still kind of like pretends to be more sophisticated than it is, enough that you kind of feel like,
Sure.
oh, I'm reading an old book, but I'm only like 13. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm glad that stuff is out there, but yeah, it's when you're trying to recommend Stephen King books that you loved when you were like a teenager to like your adult friends who have never read Stephen King and have read stuff that's more advanced or even
Yeah.
more seminal than his stuff. They can go back and go, what the fuck is this? What are you recommending this to me? Like,
Yeah, that's always hard when you have something that was really important to you at a very particular moment of time in your life, and then to try and share that with people, and then to say, "Well, no, but I was really depressed and lonely, and this was like my friend in a dark moment, or this gave me hope, or this made me laugh when I needed it." It's like there's some things that are so tied to you in a moment in time that it's kind of hard to hand to somebody and say, "Hey, you'll like this,"
I'm
It's
kind of surprised that has been Stephen King books have essentially been that for so many people because they're fucking horror stories. They're pulp paperback horror stories because you wouldn't think that many people would find solace in that stuff, but a lot of people have. Maybe it's because like horror stories are so many horror stories are like little moral tales where you're kind of going through a dark carnival ride and everything at the end kind of turns out okay. So it's still kind of a moral, like everything kind of does have a happy ending depending how fucked up the story is. I don't know. It's really, there's some kind of weird dark psychology stuff there going on. But yeah,
There is also something cathartic about a terrible thing that you're anticipating happening. you know?
Yeah. And Stephen
It's
King's
like,
really good at making that happen and happen in all kinds of ways you don't anticipate and just fucking
yeah.
yeah.
It
Fucking
can be
man.
so nice to like to vent those feelings and those emotions in something outside of yourself, removed from your life, that it's just kind of freeing. And I get the appeal of it, even though it is not my bag. Not my bag.
One
To
of
some
these days
degree.
I want to sit down. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go for it. You want days you want to sit down?
Uh yeah, one of these days I want to sit down and commission like a special edition of his book It that only contains it's this people a lot of people know about this now, but it's this book about this child eating monster in Maine who he just preys almost exclusively on small kids. And the story is about how like in 1955 these bunch of like baby boomer kids managed to defeat this monster for the first time. But they think they've killed it, but they haven't totally killed it. So it comes back 30 years to kill them as adults. And because they're adults, they don't have like the same power to fight monsters they had as kids, because the monster's weakness is like imagination and stuff like that. And all the adult stuff in that book, the adult half of that book is terrible, but all the kid stuff is fucking amazing. Some of the best stuff Stephen King's ever written, just from a character perspective, even aside from the horror stuff aside. Because all of his characters, all the kids in that book are all they call themselves a losers club because they're all just like fucked up. And there's like a fat kid and a Jewish kid and a like a stuttering kid. There's a fucking it's a great collection of like rejects. And I think that it would like just if you just had a book that just concentrated on all the kid stuff, that would be great for any even adult to read who felt like a reject as a kid. But that's like if you want to recommend that to anybody, like you have to get through so much like fucking crap in that book just to get to that good nugget inside. But
Yeah.
I wish there were like the good condensed version of Stephen King books that you could like wholeheartedly recommend to your friends and say, hey, this is the good stuff. Yeah.
There you go, Bill. At some point, you should do what the framing device of The Princess Bride is. You should write that, but have it be with an actual work, and have that actual work be it. You should do that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, that's not wrong because I forgot that's the whole crux of the book version of The Princess Bride. Yeah, okay, yeah. Shit. Anyway, what the hell else were we talking about?
Hey, did you know that old light bulb head Christopher Kimball is leaving Cooks Illustrated? What Bill notes is the point of living.
Now, do you know anything about this guy?
My
guy,
my family loves America's Test Kitchen.
See, I didn't realize this was that much of a TV show, but yeah, so he's the founder of Cooks Illustrated, the host of the TV. Oh, Cooks Illustrated is a magazine that you get that recipes and stuff, and it actually is really nicely illustrated. It's all illustrated with little hand drawn pen and ink drawings of stuff. And yeah, he hosts America's Test Kitchen, which is it a cooking? It's really like a technical cooking show. It's not all like all fancy. It's not like they're going out to like to diners to taste like different hamburgers from around the country or anything. It's just like, okay, here's how to make a turkey. Here's how to make big ziti. It's kind of dry, but still kind of amusing. Is like, I don't know. It's a good show. But so the founder of the company, Christopher Kimball, who I always strikes me because he always seems so dry and humorless, and his head is shaped like a light bulb. I guess he is leaving the company because I guess the company got a new CEO, and so he's just leaving America's Test Kitchen and everything to go off, and I don't know what he's gonna do. How do you would he go off and try to create a new competing Cooks Illustrated / America's Test Kitchen thing, like his new empire, or what are you doing then? Because Cooks Illustrated and America's Test Kitchen, they occupy such a very specific niche place in the world of like instructive cooking magazines and TV shows. Like, what do you do in that situation? Do you just take your money and run and just go home and retire, or what? Do you just hang out with Alton Brown all the time? I don't know.
Exactly. You know what you do, Bill? You go home and you cook. That's just it.
You cook. You go make himself a good pie and relax.
Exactly.
What else?
What else? I'll have to call and talk to my dad about that. He'll be bummed. The guy who created the Ghostbusters logo is dead.
Oh, you're not gonna read the ha-ha?
Excuse me. Ha-ha. Sorry,
that's
Bill.
the point of the whole. That's the joke.
Here, okay, hold on. Let me do it right. The guy who created the Ghostbusters logo is dead. Ha-ha. Did I sell that a little better?
All I know about this guy is he created the Ghostbusters logo, and he also, did you ever see the National Lampoon magazine cover where they have a picture of a guy pointing a gun to a dog's head, and it says, "If you don't buy this magazine, we're gonna shoot this dog."
Oh yeah, yeah.
He created that cover too, and I don't even know the guy's name, but he's dead. But he created Ghostbusters logo. The end. I wonder if he created the terrible second Ghostbusters movie logo where it's the same logo, but the ghost is like giving the 2 sign. That's terrible. You fucked that up. I'm glad he did. Fuck him. Just...
Oh boy. All right.
I love you, Annie. Annie, you're so patient. You really are. Yeah.
YouTube announced it's going
you're
to
like
make
Forrest Gump's teacher. What?
Oh boy. YouTube announced that it's making a greater push for fair use of copywritten material by its users. Good fucking luck.
I hope you... Do you know the details of this? Because I don't, because I totally forgot to research this.
No, I haven't heard about this at all.
Just something. All I know is like earlier in the week, YouTube did make some kind of announcement that like they are going to try to push back against DMCA claims against against corporations just automatically trying to get stuff pulled down from YouTube. I've since heard then that it sounds like that's like YouTube's only going to go to bat for like a small percentage of its users, which kind of makes sense because how are you going to how is YouTube going to personally address every kind of copyright claim that ever comes through their system? With like actual people paying attention, like they're not going to hire a lawyer for every case of like probably thousands of copyright claims that happen on YouTube every day. But it's interesting that they even like came out and said anything about this. This is something that YouTube has never even tried to address really.
Yeah.
So
it's such a quagmire. I can only imagine. Yeah, the article I'm reading says
exactly.
That, Google says it plans to offer legal support to some content creators who upload videos to YouTube and are later hit with copyright claims. Google said it will stand up to wrongful requests to remove content by targeting a select few of the best examples of fair use and even agreeing to defend those creators in court if necessary.
Oh, okay. It sounds like they may be just like going for the biggest highlighted cases or something like that. But at least they've said something. Who knows? This may actually turn into something someday if somebody comes after like PewDiePie or something. But
I mean, so much of their content is remix media. Like it's just there's only so much they can do about it. Like they do some things like they'll flag it, and then if those like content owners have rights in certain countries and things on screen, or they'll take it down altogether, or they take audio off or something. It's kind of interesting to make a choice other than just stripping the rights of creators, I mean, not to say that creators don't abuse that either,
No, but like you get abuse on both sides though. I wonder if this is kind of scaring Nintendo or any other, because like Nintendo's from a game perspective, Nintendo's been really aggressive about going after people who, then again, these are people who are trying to monetize videos with Nintendo like game content. They're fine with if you just like want to do like a let's play or a commentary on a Nintendo game, but you're not trying to make money off of it. But the moment you try to put ads on that, they get really upset. And I wonder if Nintendo, like, I don't know, Google, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this affects Google's like corporate partnerships with other companies like that. I don't know. I could see some companies if Google really pushes it back against some of these copyright claims, I could see companies pulling ad support from YouTube. Although you'd think that'd be stupid because so many like YouTube videos reach so many people. Like it's one of the few advertising things that's actually working on the internet these days. You'd have to be insane to like threaten to lose your like the viewership for your YouTube ads over like, oh, this one guy over here is just like showing Super Mario Brothers or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's a weird situation. I'll be curious to see how that goes. Hey pals, hey friends, hey neighbors.
Annie, you're starting to sound a little crispy on your end.
Do you want to pause for just a second, and I'll check my audio?
Yeah, we might need to want to pause one more time.
Okay, my friend, I'll check my audio real quick here. I'm stopping recording at 34:37.
Okay, 2:10 on my end. Okay, I'm gonna stop that now. Okay.
I don't know. My audio sounds good. I think it's just the connection.
Yeah, because you're sounding like it's not just like you're sounding clipped or anything like that, but it's being like it sounds like a frazzled like chord or something like that.
It's my audio is crisp and clear, so it's got to be our digital connection.
Okay, but your GarageBand version is okay.
Yeah, I'm listening to it right now, and I'm just
let me go. We can suffer through the rest of it again. as long as the GarageBand stuff is okay, then yeah, we like it's not good for our one viewer, but yeah, as long as GarageBand's okay, that's the only part that really.
Let me go ahead and open a new
Uh,
file so I can send you.
Oh no, keep
separate-
on recording. Although you actually,
I
the
had
sound
to
of
stop
you,
to
know,
to listen though.
yeah,
so.
I stopped too. Actually, let me see. I'm almost kind of wondering. This can't be a GarageBand thing, right? Or this can't be a Hangout thing, right?
I mean, you sound crystal clear. You sounded a little crispy, but it was not. It did not sound like it did before. It wasn't that audio scratching.
Yeah.
So I'm more
You're
inclined
actually
to
continuing to get worse. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hear you by the end of the podcast.
Well, I mean, we can hang up and try a new connection. I can't really.
Yeah, we can try one last time. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Maybe just like let's find out if it's a Golden Hangout thing. Okay, I'll stop the broadcast and we'll try this one last time. We're so close to the end.